Hello my people, today in the morning I promised to give you a video on a process to follow if you want to practice as a teacher in New Zealand. Hello, this is your princess. You know me, yeah? I am on YouTube, so I'm finishing up an edit on it. Briefly, New Zealand is one country that was once under a Britain colony. So they gained their own independence from United Kingdom. Hence, they speak more of English. They have their own language, but they speak English as the main communication tool. Now, if you want to follow a process and become a teacher in New Zealand, you know, the fun part about this, it's not in Europe. That's number one. It's not in Asia. That is number two. So most of people on social media platforms, mainly YouTube, are talking about European countries or Asian countries or even USA, you know. But New Zealand is another territory. It's in the Pacific. It's in the Pacific Oceania. So why don't we try something different? Okay, if you want to learn more, stay tuned. My name is Mboyi. For those that are joining us for the first time, I am a nurse. I work and live in the United Kingdom, and I have been here for approximately 2 years. So in this channel, we talk about traveling, we talk about nursing, we talk about lifestyle, and more so immigration. So today, we are going to explore a process on how to become a teacher in New Zealand. New Zealand is also looking for to actually staff their Ministry of Education with internationally trained teachers. There is a process to follow, which we are going to talk about today. It's not a lengthy one. Even the time frames are amazingly short. So if you really want to embark into immigration, my darling, prepare financially. Prepare financially because all these processes require you a lot of money. And if you are actually an international individual like myself, you are going to convert. You're going to use someone else's currency. You're going to use your home currency to pay a different service with a different currency. Am I making sense? I think I am. So be prepared financially. So be prepared financially. In New Zealand, the currency that they are using is New Zealand dollar. And at the moment, I'm going to compare it with how many currencies? Oh my God, let me not go there because I've seen that my audience is actually diverse now. There are so many people that are joining my channel. They are many, but they are not subscribing. Now, if you have not subscribed, why don't you hit the subscribe button now and join the family? So, I'm not going to mention the currencies because now you're many, my people. I will only match it with my own currency and the United Kingdom currency so that we can be able to make measurements. You will also be able to convert using Google Converter or just go online if you're not using an Android phone. Check the currency, the New Zealand currency, the New Zealand dollar against your own, and then be able to make estimates as to how much you're supposed to save. Now, if you want to become a teacher, firstly, in New Zealand, they have their own, it's a different setup altogether. I've been trying to explore and understand the way they do their curriculum. It's insanely different. So when you want to join New Zealand, first make research, know the syllabus, the curriculum, and then you can now start the process. The process is in 3 stages or 3 steps, which we are now going to get into. Okay, the first step is to get your qualification assessed. So there is this body that assesses international qualifications, which is called NZQA, which is New Zealand Qualification Assessment. You pay for the service, submit all the documents that they will need from you, and then you can be able to actually get a clearance assessment, which will tell you whether your certificate or your qualification is equivalent to the one that they consider as perfect for their learners. So that assessment is the first step. You can never do anything if you have an international qualification for you to work in New Zealand before you go through NZQA. So I will always match it with nurses. Nurses can never work in UK. If you are from outside the UK, you can never work in UK before you are registered with NMC. That's the same thing. So with teachers, you go through NZQA before you can do anything, unless if your qualification was obtained in New Zealand, even though you are outside the New Zealand territories. But if you have your qualification and you obtained it in New Zealand, then you don't need to go through NZQA. But if you trained outside, then that's what you have to do as the first step. Let's move on. Moving on, stage 2. So the second stage is to prove that you can be able to communicate in English. Remember on my introduction, I mentioned that New Zealand was once colonized by British colony. So it means English is one of the official languages, even though they have their own language. They want international candidates to prove that they can be able to communicate in English. So on the Teaching Council of Aotearoa, New Zealand, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that okay, but it's called Teaching Council of Aotearoa, New Zealand. They have explained which type of English you can be able to take for you to be able to say, now I can prove that I can be able to communicate in English. But on social media, I noted that so many teachers that are international and are working in New Zealand, they encourage people to do PTE. I don't know much about that test, but there are other alternatives that you can follow on the Teaching Council of Aotearoa, New Zealand website. So just go in. I'll leave the link of the Teaching Council under this video so that you can be able to directly click on that link, and then you'll be able to see the English proficiency tests that are approved. After you have taken that test, so you have completed the second stage. Moving on to the third stage. Okay, you have passed the 2 stages that I think those are the ones that I can say they are intense. So now you start the registration with the Teaching Council of Aotearoa, New Zealand. You go on in their website. They have the simplest explanation I have ever seen. Since I have started this YouTube thing, I've seen a lot. Like, I have made research on different professions and so on and so forth. But let me tell you, this New Zealand Teaching Council has made things very easy. I think, well, by far is the simplest that I have seen. And they also have timelines that they are promising you that within these timelines, you would have completed this stage, you would have completed that stage, and okay? So I made it easier for you. I took the video from the Teaching Council of Aotearoa, New Zealand website, and then I'm going to put it on my screen. This video is from the website itself. Watch it carefully. take a pen, pause if you want to pause, write everything down. I'm not a teacher, but I have this where I put my notes on. So why don't you do the same? Buy a portfolio, pad, or a diary or a journal or something. Write down important points, write down steps to follow, because when you have them down, you will not forget them. If you do forget in your mind, you have the second mind, which is your journal. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
If you're applying for registration or a practicing certificate for the first time in New Zealand, this video will show you how to apply on Hapori Matatu. Before you start your application, make sure you have the following ready. 2 forms of identification, such as your passport or driver's license, to verify your identity. Later, you will need to present these 2 original forms of identification to your nominated identity referee. Certified copies of your qualifications. Make sure that the person certifying your documents notes certified copy of the original on each page, and that they include on the document their full name, title, address, contact number, the date the document copies were certified, and their official stamp or seal. Details of your teaching experience. Police clearances from any country where you have been for more than 12 months in the last 10 years. Declarations of any convictions you may have. A debit or credit card for payment. You can reach the Hapori Matatu website by clicking the button Log in to Hapori Matatu on the Teaching Council's website, or by clicking the link in this video's description box. To log into Hapori Matatu, you will first need an Education Sector Logon, or ESL. For more information on an ESL and how to create one, please watch our video on this, which is linked to in the description below. Once you have your ESL details, you'll be able to log into Hapori Matatu. Once logged in, look for the purple button titled First Time Registration, Apply for Practicing Certificate. Make sure you answer each question relevant to your situation and check for any errors before submitting. Remember, you can always close the application and resume it at any time. You can find your saved applications in the My Draft Applications section of the application screen. Click the application you wish to return to, and then click the Edit Application button to continue. Once you've completed the application, enter your payment details before submitting. We aim to complete applications within approximately 5 working days, but please be aware that this can be longer as it depends on the complexity of your case. Overseas applications are a good example of this, as they can often take more time and resources to verify. The status of your application will be listed on the Applications page in Hapori Matatu under the heading My Application Cases. If you would like further details on the status of your application, you can do so by asking our chatbot, Miromiro. You can find Miromiro on the Teaching Council's website. Just have your registration or case number ready.
Okay, now that you are now fully registered as a teacher in New Zealand, fourth thing that you need to do now is to get an employment. So you will look in different websites to search for jobs and get employed. After you are employed, then you will start the visa processing. Now, this is my tip. If you are a teacher, try as much as you can to apply for secondary school or secondary level teaching opportunities, or if your qualification allows you to be teaching in secondary level and upwards. Because the juicy thing is, I come with receipts, right? Yeah, by far. By now you know that I bring receipts on this channel. So let's check this website, this one. It was updated on the 3rd of April 2024 that teachers that are coming in New Zealand as secondary school teachers would gain permanent residency in New Zealand. So this means immediately you get approved, visa in your passport, you are now a permanent resident in New Zealand before even stepping your foot in that country. So teachers, another challenge upon you. Why are you not exploring this? Why don't you try? The fear of unknown will cripple you. You don't have to fear anything that you don't know. Face it and fail. Pick yourself up and take another route, because wow, first world people will show you how much we are missing out. My fellow Africans, specifically Basotho, ke kopa le nke opportunity ena baratuwa ba ka. I know Basotho ba ruteile. Education ya rona it's wide world recognized. Hobaneng re sa itse gore re ikhotloreng re naheng tse re hlokang? Because I can tell you, hona le dikolo Lesotho tse producing matitjhere selemo le selemo, but there are, I think, less than 5% ba hiwang every year. If you have a means of raising funds, try to follow the route and be a teacher abroad. I am planning to find a way if there could be any financial subsidy that you can be able to gain from New Zealand pathways to becoming a teacher there. So if you are not subscribed on my channel, subscribe now, so that when I upload a video about this, you'll be the first one to know. Thank you very much for watching this video this far. I will see you in my next upload. Bye-bye.